Good morning and happy Friday. I am sitting in the greenhouse right now with a cup of coffee, surrounded by all my little baby tomato plants and the herb tray that I started a couple weeks ago. And I'm just taking a minute to just reflect and just sit and be still. The greenhouse is doing great. It is about 50 degrees in here right now. It got down to about 40 last night, so it probably would have been warmer in here had I come out and closed it up sooner. By the time I came out and closed everything up last night, it was down to like 62 in here. So it lost about 12 degrees overnight, which is fine. I'm making it work. I have heat mats under these trays of tomatoes right here. I have another tray right here, like pretty much underneath the camera. They do not have a heat mat, but they were not on a heat mat last night at all. But this is one of the plants that was in that tray and it looks totally fine. This is a Cherokee purple plant. I did come out and finish repotting everything yesterday. I made the video about repotting tomatoes. That will probably go up this weekend. And I didn't get them all repotted while I was filming because it was like 100 degrees in here while I was doing that. And to be honest, repotting tomatoes is not my favorite thing. Repotting anything is not my favorite thing. So I did about half of the tomatoes the other day in the video, and then I came out yesterday and did the other half because it takes a long time. I think I have 48 tomato plants out here. I tried to do a count yesterday before I went inside after I finished repotting, and somehow I only ended up with 43 on my list. So this morning before I go back in, I need to count them all by variety to see how many of each variety I have, because obviously something's not right because I am missing 5 somewhere. I don't think I showed it on a video. I did a Facebook Live when I did this, but I planted some little herb starter kits in these little 6-cell things. The only thing that's come up so far is my Emily basil and my Thai basil. I do see some oregano sticking out in this, but nothing else has come up yet. I had them covered for a while and then I uncovered them. It's been warm enough in here that I haven't needed to cover them. I probably should have covered them last night, but I didn't. So we'll see what happens. I may end up taking some, growing some inside and repotting them into these to sell. I have 6 of these little trays to sell, and they have Italian parsley, chives, oregano, Thai basil, thyme, and Emily basil in them. And that little Emily basil has started to come up a little bit. And then I also started 6 of my just regular pots with stuff for myself, and if I have extras to sell or give away or whatever. So this is oregano, and they are starting to come up in there. I don't know if you can see. They're really tiny and they're all kind of up here in the corner, so I'll have to separate those out. But they are hopefully going to do things. I've heard things about chives being a hard plant to grow from seed. I heard that after I bought the seeds. So I may end up, oh, this one has some thyme coming up in it. I may end up doing something else besides chives. I also have seeds for cilantro and dill. So I may do some dill because I think a lot of people like dill. And I know here, I grew dill last year for pickles, and the year before I did not. And I had the hardest time finding fresh dill in our local stores to make pickles with. And I was like, what is the problem? I don't understand. They would have like one pack, one of those little plastic like blister packs of it, and that's it. And it's like, well, that's only like 3 sprigs. So That's like how much I put in one jar of pickles sometimes. So I grew some last year and I had so much of it. It was awesome. So I may just put some dill in here because I know I can get that to grow. I grew it last year. I literally threw some in the dirt outside last year in the garden and it came up and it was beautiful. I also started some zinnias and some lemon balm yesterday. I hadn't started any flowers or anything like that yet. I know lemon balm isn't technically a flower, but I'm categorizing it in my garden as a flower for the pollinators. So I started lemon balm and some candy stripe zinnias yesterday. Now these tomatoes have been out here for about a week now. I brought them out, I think, last Friday. It was cloudy and they were out here all day. So they've been out here for a full week at this point. Day and night. I did add heat mats out here. Now we don't have outside power at our house at all because it's old, but we do have an outlet in our garage, which the garage is directly behind me. It's like right here. So I ran this extension cord from the garage out the door, like the garage door, and then around. And I have a little power strip over here with my 2 heat mats plugged in. They're just my 2 like germinating mats from the basement from when I germinated seeds. So that's been helping keep it warmer in here, especially for the tomatoes that are over here. Now I have another tray over here, but they didn't make it onto the heat mat, but they were fine. So they also just provide a little bit of extra warmth for the whole greenhouse. It holds heat pretty well. I have one vent in here. I have another zipper on the other side to make a vent, but when I put it on and I tried to unzip it, the zipper came off. So I need to figure out how to get that back on so I can have 2 vents. But I can also open the door. I can unzip the whole door, and I've been waiting and open with like a watering can, and it's been doing fine. It does get kind of hot in here. It's been 100 degrees pretty regularly, and I try to come out before it gets that hot and open up the vent so it can just get some airflow in here, get some air movement. I will say though that having the door open, because the wind likes to come in this direction towards the tomatoes, it has been giving them a little bit of movement, which is good. They had a fan on them when they were still in the house. And so since they've come outside, they have not had as much wind. So I try to make sure that I come out and just kind of touch them all a little bit, rub my hand over them every day, just to give them some movement and help them build their stems, to get the stems stronger. Some of them are doing super well. This is a triple crop plant. And this thing has grown probably, I would say, at least 2 inches since I brought it outside last week. And it has 2 or 3 sets of true leaves on it. And I mean, I could pot this deeper, but I couldn't because it's all the way down to the bottom in the pot. So I'm so excited for these tomatoes and these plants. I was having an issue in the house with my tomatoes having purple leaves underneath. Since I've brought them out here, they have gotten better. I am using my blue watering can that I normally would use to fertilize my plants in the garden. And so it had a tiny bit of residue of just my regular organic fertilizer in it. And so I've been using that. So it has a trace amount of fertilizer in it, which I think has been helping the tomatoes. Their leaves are a lot less purple. They're still a little purple, so I'm thinking I may need to buy some bone meal to give them a boost of phosphorus. I think that's right, or maybe it's, yeah, I think it's phosphorus, because that is a common deficiency, and that's what happens when they need phosphorus, is their leaves turn purple on the underside. It could be that they're getting too cold, but since they were like that in my house where it's like 70 degrees pretty much all the time, I don't think that that's the problem. So that's pretty much what's happening out here. I wanted to just kind of come out and start getting back into the groove of filming videos on Friday mornings. I know my morning garden walks are kind of like it is good for me to come out and kind of reflect on what's happening. There's not much happening in the actual garden, but I'll go show you what is happening because there are a few things that have come up, and the lettuce tower has a bunch of little green things in it. So let's go see what's going on over there. So let's walk over to the garden. There are a few things going on over here, and I did notice some new sprouts yesterday. I need to, this weekend, it's supposed to be like in the mid 60s all weekend. So I need to spend some time out here getting the weed situation under control because it is not out of control yet, but I just need to get my weed fabric put down underneath the pavers where those are going. And I may go ahead and start amending my soil with my fertilizer, my granular fertilizer, and getting some cardboard put down. We'll see. So let's see what's going on over here. First thing is radishes. So we have purple radishes, purple plum radishes, and some sparkler white tip radishes. And I was a little worried about these because I thought I may have planted them too deep, but they all came up, which is awesome. Oh, and my little black-eyed Susan is starting to come back. That's super exciting. Over here, I have a bag, a grow bag, and it has carrot seeds in it. It has my Danvers Half Long and my Parisan carrots in it. And I was worried because nothing had come up. And then yesterday I came out to water and there's a bunch of little baby carrots. So I'm hoping that the grow bag helps them grow. The dirt is pretty loose in there, so hopefully things will work out. And then over here at the lettuce tower, there is lots of stuff. This is arugula. And up here we have some of our Rocky Top lettuce. And we have some kale, some spinach, some more Rocky Top lettuce, some more spinach, some more kale. And down here, somewhere, yes, there is some cilantro. So there's lots of little sprouts in here, which makes me super duper excited. The only thing we have planted right now in the arches is peas, and they look a little sad because they are, I'm trying to put my coffee down where it doesn't spill. They are climbers, but they can't really hold themselves up. So I've had to come out here and kind of like put them up myself, like train them to go up instead of like laying on top of each other like they have been, or attaching to themselves and all that, and it's just not going well. Hopefully once they get a little bit bigger, they'll start to train themselves, because I don't know. I've never like really grown peas before. See, this one is kind of starting to go up, but like these are just struggling. And these, I don't know if those are gonna grow or not. They haven't done much, but everything else has so far. So that's what's going on. There are things happening. Spring is here. My last frost day is this month. The weather looks really good though. I am trying to decide when to come out and start my like cucumbers and my beans and my melons and that kind of stuff. Melons I probably should wait a little bit, but like cucumbers and beans, it could be really soon. First step is to get the weeds pulled and the fabric down and fertilizer put in or put on and cardboard. I'm not sure how I'm going to get mulch this year. I may have to make one trip to Lowe's to get a bunch of mulch. There are places in town that do deliver mulch, like by the truckload, but we just don't have a place for them to put a truckload of mulch here, really. So I usually just buy bagged mulch from Lowe's. I actually may be able to order it and then just pick it up, which would be ideal. Otherwise the mulch is outside anyway, so I feel safer going to Lowe's to the garden center only and not going inside because it's outside. I really like to have a couple bags of compost too, but I don't know. I may not be able to get that, but I do have a bag of granular fertilizer to amend with, which I may just have to do that this year, which is fine. I can add nutrients and compost and stuff as the season goes on. So, I hope everyone has a great day. Side note, I got this mug at Target and it's so cute and I love it. I hope everyone has a great day and a great weekend. I hope the weather's nice where you are and you're able to actually get outside if you can. It's good for the soul. Otherwise, that's all I have this morning. So thank you for watching and I will see you in the next one.